Welcome to Your Choice and Your Freedom with Ron Green. Experience Texas opinions from a man who's sick of PC arguing and is ready to get solutions for real issues facing Americans.
Hey, welcome back. This is Ron Green, and this is the Ron Green Show. So if you're wanting to listen to something else, you're in the wrong place. However, if you do like our show, be sure and check us out on YouTube. Today we are going to talk about Trump campaign promises, and we have our three guests today. Colonel Allen West. I'm sure you're all familiar with him. He's a politician, and I'm sorry, I'm going to let him give you the rest of his bio.
Yes.
And Jamie Knight from the Brian Blue Show.
Hello, good to be back. Thanks, Ron.
And
Anna,
and I will let each one give their own introduction because I'm really bad at doing that. I always seem to mess it up. It's just one of my one of my very few flaws. So I would like to start with Colonel Allen.
How you doing,
Colonel
Ron?
West. Hi, great to have you on the show. I've watched you many times. It's a real pleasure.
Well, pleasure to be with you. And I'm just a simple old Southern boy, born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. Did 22 years service, United States Army. Retired back in 2004. Did a stint in Congress, one term. George Soros didn't want me there, so he kind of worked real hard, spent $5 million of his own money to get me out. But now I live in Dallas, Texas. I am the executive director of the National Center for Policy Analysis. It's a 34-year-old conservative free market think tank.
Excellent. I like that. I like that free thinking part. And now, Jamie, would you like to do yours?
Sure. My name is Jamie Knight, and I am the co-host of The Brian Blue Show. I am the progressive voice of that show, and am involved in various political activism groups and
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. There is a cure for that. If you would like for me to help you
I
out
just
after
wanna-
the show.
just want to help my fellow man.
And Anna, would you like to
hi, I'm Anna McCartney.
welcome back, by the way,
Thank you so
to
much.
both of you.
Thank you.
Amen. I'm an architect and a new entrepreneur here in America. Being here for 5 years, I consider myself a deplorable legal immigrant. I am a Trump supporter. I am a woman. I am Hispanic. I am half black, and I am a conservative. So that's
So we have
that.
a
So
good
you're
mix
a
today.
doo-doo, aren't you, Jamie?
And no, not really,
Yeah.
because as conservatives, there's no way you can really be that excited about our current president. So
I'm
mean-
thrilled, and I'm going to say something
I'm
about
loving
that
it.
right now. Okay. First of all, I think it's ridiculous to judge a presidency on the first 100 days.
I'm
I
with
always
that.
thought,
Yes.
I always have.
That makes
I don't know who came up with that litmus test, but that's nuts. How are you going to know what kind of promises he's going to be able to keep based on 100 days? Now, Alan, or Colonel West may have some insight on that because he's actually been on the inside. But from looking on the outside, I'm going, he's one man. He's going to make promises, but when he gets there, he's not a dictator. He has to work with like 1 billion other people to get, permission to set up a new crossing guard. So, let's deal with the realities of it. So, Colonel West, what is your take on that?
Well, I think the whole 100 days thing was, more of a media-driven litmus test. Supposedly that's going to be the honeymoon period that they give you to come in and get settled and see how well you get established and focused on your agenda. But I think that one of the things that we have to look at, and recently, you can see that two things. The Trump administration needs to understand the politics of optics. They have to really understand that they are going to be heavily scrutinized, and the president is very correct in that he is going, without a doubt, one of the most heavily attacked presidents that we've seen in recent history. I'm 56, and I know George Bush endured a lot, and Ronald Reagan endured a lot, but the honeymoon that was given to President Obama is not going to be happening for Donald Trump. But he also has to realize that he can't always pull the pin on the grenade and throw it on his own foot. And I think that there have been some occasions of that. When you talk about campaign promises, as he's getting ready to head out to Saudi Arabia, Israel, and Brussels, one of the things that you see already is that they have backed away from the promise of moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, and that's causing some issues. So there is something about making campaign rhetoric, and then all of a sudden when you get in that seat, you see a different type of reality. So I think that he's kind of learning that in these first few days.
Well, I agree with that. I think it's easy on the campaign trail, especially for the office of presidency. It's not like you can, take a crash course on YouTube. The realities of governing are I can't imagine the weight of the presidency once you actually sit down in that seat. And you're going, yeah, I told him I could do this, but the reality is I can't do that. If I did that, that's going to stir up more trouble than we really want to deal with.
Trump did say it was a lot harder than he thought it was going to be.
Well, I think that's true of everybody. President Obama didn't exactly set the world on fire like he promised either.
Yeah,
So
he tried.
actually, in my lifetime, I'm a little older than Colonel West. I've never seen a president actually toe the line on every campaign promise. And I've never seen one get everything he wanted, even on those that he was able to get through. So I think it's a little unfair, personally, especially given that Donald Trump is not a politician, which I personally was one of the reasons I voted for him. The next one was the Supreme Court nominee, and the next one was the economy. Those three things are what influenced my vote. But the thing that really caught my attention was the fact that he was not a professional politician. I fully expect him to create a new news cycle. I just didn't expect him to create a new news cycle every 20 minutes. That's all. Anna, what do you think?
Well, I think that he will be able to accomplish most of what he promised. I don't think it will be like a crazy challenge for him. He's just working towards that direction. But the thing is here, he was the one who started the 100-day thing, because in his campaign he made this contract with the people.
My first 100 days,
so
my first
he
100
gave
days.
ideas to the opposition to use that, and they used it against him today. Now I say that the opposition thought he was so incredible and so amazing that they were expecting him to actually accomplish all of his campaign promises within 100 days.
I would
say
venture
he's
to say the opposition expected him to fail within the first 10 days.
And that ain't happening.
Speaking of the opposition, I'll represent that voice, and I'll say that it's completely absurd to think that someone's going to accomplish all of their campaign promises in 4 years or even 8 years, much less the first 100 days.
Anderson Cooper is,
And
and Bernie Sanders too. They're criticizing him for he's not doing any of his promises. I was like, wait a minute, he's working on it.
Yeah, but look at the
Okay.
source, okay?
Well, first of all, they're probably criticizing some things because there were a lot of people that voted for him because of certain campaign promises, and there's things that he has definitely shifted on since he's been in that position. So I understand why some people would say that, such as, we're going to completely redo NAFTA. Well, now he's just like, oh, there's a couple little things wrong with it. Like, he's just
I think
changing.
it's too early to say he's changing.
Exactly.
I think
But
it's too
the
early.
point is that I don't, particularly as someone that would be a voice of the left side of this country, I don't care if he accomplishes these promises or not. I think that many of them were deeply flawed policies and promises that he made. I don't want him to accomplish any of those goals. It's ridiculous. Like, he can throw out some ideals, but
if I can interject,
Sure.
yeah.
If I can interject, I find it kind of unbelievable that you would not want to see us achieve 3 to 4% GDP growth, and to have the tax policies that enable us to do that. because
that's
we
not the
cannot
ones I'm
continue
talking
on.
about.
Of course she's going to
Well,
dismiss
no, I
that
mean,
one,
you
Colonel
didn't
West.
specify. You didn't specify.
I
but
didn't
you
specify.
just said.
But I'm saying
so I'm
that
just starting off with that one. Okay, let's try another one. Do you want to see us rebuild our military capability and capacity? It has been incredibly decimated over these last 8 years through the Obama administration. Do you want to see us have a stronger foreign policy?
I
which,
disagree.
we
I
have not
disagree.
had?
I think that we have. I don't
We have
think
the
that.
smallest. We have the smallest Marine Corps since World War I, the smallest army.
But it's
since
still bigger than
1939, the
everybody
smallest
else's
Navy
by
since
far.
1918, and
But
and
but
this
it's
has all happened in the last 8 years.
But that's fine. I think that we don't need
That's
to have.
fine.
Yes, I think that our
So
Navy.
you're okay with us having a depleted military,
But it's
with us
st-
having,
it's
young
still-
men and women that are doing 6 or 7 combat tours of duty. You're okay with the Veterans Administration Hospital and the way that it's going, and the fact that we have 22
That's a
veterans
different
per
issue
average
completely.
a day.
That's a completely.
No, it's not a different
Yes,
issue.
it
No,
is.
and
I'm
they are
talking
scared about the Russians,
I don't
and they want a
understand how you
smaller
see
army.
These are different issues.
I am trying to tell you that what I think as far as the military is that I don't understand why we can tone down what we have because we still spend more
much
and have a
further
bigger,
toning down do you
nicer. As long as we're still we have the biggest military and we spend the most on it, more than twice what the rest of the world does combined. Why do we have to be so?
The New York Yankees spend more on their baseball team, but they win championships. So I guess you want us to be losers.
No, I don't want us to be losers. I want to take care of some
yes,
people
let
at
me agree-
home
Let me agree
rather than
with you.
taking
Let me
care of
agree
a.
with you on this point. Let me agree with you on this point, because if you were to go back and do an analysis over the last 15 to 20 years, you've seen an incredible increase in our defense budget. But what you have seen is the opposite happening. We have degraded our operational forces, but we've increased and grown the bureaucracy of the Pentagon and other headquarters. As a matter of fact, in the last year of the Obama administration, a report came out that said there was about $10 to $12 billion of wasteful civilian bureaucratic spending in the Pentagon. And those are the type of things that I think that we should be working on, but we can't continue to punish the young men and young women that we're sending out there to keep us safe.
I agree with that, and we're coming to the end of the first segment, and I want to pick up some more of this stuff that you brought out with Jamie when we return. Once again, I want to thank Colonel West and Anna and Jamie for being with me, and we'll be back in just a few. Hang with us.
You're listening to Your Choice and Your
I
Freedom
bet
with
you got
Ron
busted
Green.
every time
Now
you
go on and
cheated
grab
on a
a
woman
snack
your
and a
entire
Dr.
life.
Pepper. Ron
If you're
Green
bad
will
at
got
names,
that. And we're back. This is Your Choice, Your Freedom with your host, Ron Green, finding solutions for America's problems.
Colonel West, in your discussion in the first segment with Jamie, you were talking about the economy growth and defense spending. And, of course, she wants the economy to grow because, that way they can take more of our money. But the defense thing, I haven't met too many on the left that really think a national defense is really necessary.
Of course it's necessary.
Well, no, not to the degree that we have it. In other words, you don't really believe that we need to be the biggest, baddest out there. You think that we can be just as safe with a depleted military, with them robbing museums for aircraft parts, the Air Force for aircraft parts to keep the planes we need to keep, the mean, evil Russians from invading during the next presidential campaign.
I don't suppose that I know how all military spending works once the budget is set and it goes to the military. I know some things that it doesn't cover. I know that it doesn't pay for everything for veterans when they come home. I know but I know Colonel West knows much more about it.
Right.
Here's
he was
question.
there. Okay.
He was there, and I understand
there,
that.
and he was in office.
Here's my question. If in 2015 we spent $598 billion on military spending, and then that's more than China and Saudi Arabia and Russia and the UK and India combined. And these are also allies of ours. Why couldn't we spend $587 billion and then use $10 billion possibly in another way? So I'm just saying that I don't think that growing our military is the most urgent, pressing thing happening in America right now. I think drastic income equality, I think being 38th in the world in education, I think there are other problems that involve taking care of our country that are not just inflamed
part
by
of his campaign promises were actually fix all of that you just said.
Was to people like me who voted for Trump and Anna who voted for Trump. We want him to build up the military. We don't want our Air Force pilots or mechanics having to go to museums and saying, "Hey, can we take this part?"
I don't know why that's happening. They
it's
clearly have
happening.
They clearly have more money than
Colonel
everybody
West
else.
could probably tell you why.
Please, Colonel West, explain it to me.
Well, again, there are different pots of money out there, and when I talk about the operating force, those are the your frontline units out there, being the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and Air Force, because the Coast Guard falls under the Department of Homeland Security. And what you see happening is that you have this money that's allocated, appropriated to the Department of Defense, and I sat on the Armed Services Committee. But it is not getting down to the place it needs to be. There's a lot of money that's wasted in our acquisition and weapons procurement systems, and that's something that I think that we need to do. And when I was up there in D.C., and I still continue to talk about how we need to audit the Pentagon and see where this money is going. I can point you to the fact that we spent a few $1 billion for a natural gas station in Afghanistan when they really don't use a lot of natural gas in Afghanistan. And so those are the type of insidious things that we see happening when instead, as Richard he brought out, we have these young men and women that are out there scrambling through boneyards and museums to get spare parts on because they don't have that funding. But I think that when you talk about what's the most important responsibility for the federal government, it is to provide for the common defense. I hear you talk about the education aspect, but then I will challenge you and say that most liberal progressives don't want to support alternatives for parents, such as school choice, school vouchers, charter schools, and things of this nature. They continue to want to relegate, especially inner city families, to failing public school systems. And I can speak to this because I grew up in the inner city of Atlanta, Georgia, and my parents made a choice for me growing up to, scrape the money to send me to a small black private Catholic school, and that's made the difference in my life. So I think that we do need to have those policies that enable people to have more money in their pockets so that they can make better decisions, to include being able to have affordable health care. But we cannot have wealth redistribution and 20 new taxes as a part of a health care law, because we're seeing that that's failing. And a lot of people aren't talking about the fact that Aetna is going to pull out of all the Obamacare changes. They announced that last week. United Healthcare has already made that decision. Humana is doing the same thing. Anthem is thinking about it. And in the state of Iowa, they're about to have no insurance companies whatsoever because they are losing money left and right in these Obama exchanges because there's no such thing as free health care. Someone is taking up that cost.
Exactly.
There's many things that you said right there. And I actually don't disagree completely with all of them. I do have to say...
That's amazing.
I know, right?
Uh-oh.
The logic is
logic
is logic. And I'm thinking anyway. But what I do, my opinion about the school choice thing is that I don't really see how taking more money away from public schools is going to help by giving it to
public schools are failing miserably.
You're right. One of the reasons they're failing is because of money.
Public school. Think about that. No parent wants their kid in a public school.
I am the mother. I'm the mother of a
question.
Okay.
Jamie,
yes?
Jamie, should the money follow the child or should the money follow the institution?
The money should be spent in a way that is not. I mean,
follow the child or follow the institution.
The institution.
No, you always want the money to follow the child because the child is the end result of spending that money.
Okay, I understand.
Who cares about the institution?
But what if,
I don't care about teachers' unions.
What if,
I don't care about the Democratic Party voter base. I don't. What I care is if I'm going to spend tax dollars to educate a kid, I want that kid educated. I want him to be smarter than me if that's possible.
One of the biggest problems with school choice and private schools like that and using government money to pay for those is that there aren't regulations on what the curriculum involves, and that is a huge problem. I have a huge problem with my tax dollars going. Oh, yes, but if you're talking about a private school, such as there's a school that I went to in Lubbock, and it was a Christian school. So we were not told about science. We were told about creationism. And that...
But you made that choice. The parent makes that choice. If the parent makes the choice that that's not the right type of school,
the parent can make the parent can make the choice all day long to teach their kid whatever complete baloney there is, and that cannot affect the public money. If you want to send your kids to a private school, then you can pay your own money. Public money needs to go to non-religious, to secular
So we just keep on sending good money to these failing school systems, and by the way,
there are failing
Colonel
charter
West
schools
could address
just as
Colonel
much
West
as there
can
are
address
failing
this,
public
I'm sure.
schools.
Colonel West can address.
Can I ask Jamie one simple
Sure.
question?
Sure.
Jamie,
Yes.
do you agree in April of 2009, President Obama canceled the D.C. school voucher program, yet he sent his kids to prestigious Sidwell Friends? Do you agree with that decision?
I guess I'm not really getting. You're saying that he says that he doesn't think that people should be able to go to charter schools, but he sent his kids to a private school? Is that what you're saying?
Barack Obama canceled the D.C. school voucher program, which was a program that was established in one of the worst school districts in the country for deserving minority kids. He canceled that program, but yet his kids went to Sidwell Friends. So in other words, there were kids that were kicked out of Sidwell Friends while his kids were, put there. So do you agree with that decision?
I think that if he has the power and the money to put his kids in a private school, then he has that right, and I don't really see what it has to do with
so that's
the
privilege.
It has to do with
So
the
that's
double
privilege.
standard, right? It has to do with the double standard. If you
that's
if you've got
capitalism that you love so
the
much.
political connections or you have the money, your kid gets a good education. But if you're in a low income neighborhood, if you're in public housing on food stamps, then your kid gets whatever the government decides you need. Period.
It's hysterical.
Okay.
It's hysterical for you to make that point because you made the exact opposite point.
No, I made the point
previously.
I made the point that the school voucher system should be put into place so that the kids have an opportunity to go to the same school President Obama's kids go to. Why should they be stuck in a substandard education environment just because they don't have the financial resources or the political connections to get their kid into a better school? But yet or not them probably, but the rest of us are paying taxes to ensure that those kids get an opportunity to an education. That should be the focus.
You're right.
Not where the money is.
We should put that money into making public schools better. You're right.
Colonel West, can you tell me how much money we've put in the time you were in office? How much money we put into the public school system?
Well, let me give you the background. It was back in the Carter administration, the mid to late 70s, when we had a government agency called Health, Education, and Welfare. Jimmy Carter made the decision to create three separate branches, agencies: Health and Human Services, Department of Education, and Housing and Urban Development. If you go back and you look at the budget for the Department of Education in its infantile stages, it's about $18 billion, 18.4, somewhere along there. But if you look at the budget for the Department of Education today and how it has grown exponentially, you have to ask yourself one simple question, and Jamie brought that out. Because of all the more money that we're spending in Washington, D.C. on education, what has happened to the standards of education in the United States of America? Has it increased or has it gotten worse?
Yeah, because they're focused on funding instead of focusing in the program and what are they teaching our children.
And it's focused on what the teachers' unions want. One of the largest lobbying groups in
I
Washington,
agree that
D.C.
there needs to be wild, complete curriculum change. I think we need a lot of reform. I do agree with a lot of. I don't think the education system is fine, but I certainly do not think giving government money to private schools that have private interests is the solution.
I didn't say give it to private schools. You allow the parent to make the choice. The money should follow a kid, and you empower parents to be able to do that.
Yeah,
we are
but
never
not all
going to break
parents
the
would make the
cycle of
best
poverty.
choice.
It's not up to you to decide for someone else's kids what's the right decision. Whether you agree with that parent's decision or not is totally irrelevant. They're not your kids, and you're not responsible for them. And we are going to wrap it up right there on that brilliant comment and return for the next segment. Once again, I want to thank my guests for being here and remind you to check out previous episodes on YouTube.
Ron Green, the show for conservative activists. Your host, Ron Green, will be right back. Your choice, your freedom with host Ron Green is back. Which American issue are we fixing today, Ron?
Hey, this is Ron, and we're back, and I would like to say thank you to Colonel West for joining us today. He had to leave, but we still have Miss Lovely Jamie Knight and Miss Anna McCartney with us, and we are going to get a little feedback from Anna here about what she thinks about Trump's campaign promises so far in the first 100 days.
Well, I think he did really great on all the executive orders he already signed. I think the rest, who's not being accomplished yet, is because it needs time. Now, I am pretty mad that he backed up on putting Hillary Clinton in jail.
Okay, well, he can't actually put Hillary Clinton in
No,
jail.
but he can start working towards that.
No, he can't actually this is how Trump gets in trouble, is he doesn't really understand, well, I shouldn't say
What are we
that.
putting
I
Hillary
don't-
Clinton in jail for?
The illegal
Because, yes.
server
The
and
illegal server?
classified information
Yes.
being sent to it.
But he
All
did the same
stuff-
thing. He's had people that are part of his team have had private servers as well. The classified information has been on.
Okay.
Well, has
It's
they been in
completely-
government?
Okay,
They have not
I'm
been in
sorry,
office.
Jenny. I'm
Completely
sorry, Jenny.
hypocritical.
Are you responsible for your cousins if they set up a private server? Should they arrest you?
It's just hypocritical. It's like you
It's
can't
not
sit there and say
hypocritical.
Hillary Clinton
Okay,
should be in
the
jail and
law-
Donald Trump
the
shouldn't
law
be.
is
Yeah.
neither hypocritical or hypocritical. The law is simply the law. The lady broke the law, and there should be a real investigation.
But she's
with-
never been convicted of anything.
No, but she has.
She's been
These are
pardoned.
alle- these are
But
alle-
pardoned,
no,
though.
they're
These are
not
allegations that
there
are just the same as the
no,
allegations
we have
against
evidence.
Trump that you're so
we,
far
no,
against.
we have actual classified emails.
Yeah.
We have actual
She should be
data.
prosecuted.
We have physical evidence.
Why
Now
hasn't
that-
she been?
She hasn't
This
been.
is-
Ask James Comey. That's why he got fired.
No, it wasn't James Comey.
If
it
James
was,
Comey
it
was
was
so
it
into
was
Hillary Clinton,
the
then he would have
Obama
not.
administration. It was the Obama administration, and what's her name? I know her name, but it's the previous U.S. Attorney General, the one with the tarmac and Bill Clinton. What's her name?
Loretta Lynch.
Loretta
Loretta
Lynch.
Lynch?
Yeah, this is why there was no
That was a
prosecution.
nasty setup.
And James Comey coming out and listing all the things she did wrong, and then saying, "But there's no intent."
Yeah,
when in
that's
fact,
embarrassing.
The fact that she set up the server alone shows intent.
Why are we still
Okay,
talking about
my
this?
Because
point
it was
is
a campaign
because
promise.
He
Okay.
promised
It's
a
a campaign
thorough
promise.
investigation.
He also promised to
The
bring back
thing is,
waterboarding.
He can't. Well, no. he
I'm not
can't.
nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
If
If
well,
you kidnap my children, I wish they do anything to you in order to make you talk. These guys want to kill Americans, so bring back waterboarding,
I
prosecute
agree.
Hillary.
Lots of people wanna
I
kill
don't care.
Americans.
I mean, when they're cutting off people's heads, I don't really care. A little waterboarding, give
Yeah,
me a break.
waterboarding is better than beheading.
What
but
difference
at
does
the
it
same
make?
time,
It's just
what-
inflammatory. It's
what-
just something.
It was
I'm
designed to piss you off,
I
Jamie.
know. That's what's so frustrating about it.
It was all designed to.
Here's the
None
thing.
of this is real substance.
Exactly.
is.
That was all campaign stuff. Trump doesn't have
I
the
don't-
power to bring back waterboarding, which everybody knew, and he doesn't have the power to launch an investigation into Hillary
So
Clinton.
we're talking
Well,
about.
I don't know.
No,
about
he
that.
does not.
He
That
does not, but the
separation
FBI
of-
yes.
Right, the FBI
And
does.
here comes a new director.
And he can ask them to please conduct an investigation, but he can't force them to. Just like he can ask them to stop an investigation, he can't force them to.
Yeah, but-
he can politely say, "Please give this another look," or "Hey, haven't we
Yes.
gotten deep enough into this? Can we let this go? Bring charges?"
Like he did about Flynn.
Right. In other words, and he can do that. That's perfectly legal.
What
You
I
can say,
mean
"Hey,
is-
have we got enough to send this to the grand jury? Can we get this over with?" It's a drag on his administration. He wants it to go away.
If she was guilty, she would have been convicted.
She hasn't even been charged yet.
Exactly.
But wait, we have a new attorney general now.
Uh-oh.
And the attorney general can call for an investigation.
Well, they're probably a little
And-
bit busy right
and
now
if-
with all of the
if-
Russia stuff going on.
Oh, please. The attorney general, there's a special prosecutor. He doesn't have to worry about that. Thank you, Democrats. Now then, so when he gets a clean bill of health, which I'm reasonably sure he will, some of his people may go down, but I'm reasonably sure he's going to get a clean bill of health. Then the Democrats are only going to have themselves to blame.
Oh my God, I don't want President Pence either.
You know, Ron, well, here's my concern. He promised in the entire campaign he's going to appoint a special prosecutor to look into Hillary Clinton's case. He's going to lock her up. Lock her up was the campaign chanting, right? Now, as soon as he took office, he was like, I'm just going to leave that alone because there is more important things to focus on. And there is a lot of deplorables out there saying, "Hey, wait a minute, this was not." That's my the only thing I think he should not back on.
Okay,
Here's
here's
what
It was a campaign promise.
okay,
He should
was
have
some
here's the
campaign
way you need to
rhetoric.
view every campaign you're ever going to see from now until the sun envelops the moon. Okay? You cannot focus on every single promise or statement that someone running for political office makes. A lot of it is designed to get news coverage. A lot of it's designed to tick off the opposition. A lot of it's designed to gin up the base. The reality, what you need to focus on are what are the big things that a president could work towards, because he's not a dictator, he is a president. What are the things he could really work toward that would improve my life? Putting Hillary Clinton in jail, although I would really love to see it, would not improve my life
I'm
one
not
bit.
saying-
What I care about are the three campaign promises I'm watching is Obamacare. Unfortunately,
They're working on it.
they're working on it, but the thing is, he by himself cannot get that done, and the Republican Party promised to repeal and replace.
They are
As
working
near
on
as I can, no, they're not repealing
I
it.
bet that
They're working around the edges. They're not going to repeal it. I know that. We're still going to have a screwed up system when they're done. It may or may not be better than Obama's, but that'll be a campaign promise that they can check off. The only two that really matter to me at this point are the new tax bill and getting the economy back to
That
4
is
to
in
4.5%.
He didn't check out from those
they're
promises like he did to the Hillary one.
Well, yeah, they're in progress, and you got to give them time to get them done.
Yeah,
but
I'm fine with that.
harping about the things in the first 100 days that he has or hasn't got done, 100 days is a ridiculous timeline.
Okay.
It's a ridiculous timeline.
I am
I
referring
mean,
to
what can you really do in 100 days other than sign some executive
okay.
orders, which he did?
But and the wall is coming, and all of that is going to take time. He hasn't checked out from it. He left the Hillary Clinton case alone, and I'm not saying Trump should focus on locking her up. He at least should have people looking into her case, because that will teach.
I'm willing to
that
bet.
will teach
I'm willing to
other
bet
government
that-
officials to behave.
I'm willing to bet that part of the reason that James Comey got fired is because the new Attorney General wants to take another look at that and doesn't feel like that James Comey
And that'll
would
make me
be
happy.
the best FBI director to assign that task.
Why
to.
does everybody think James Comey's protecting Hillary Clinton when
No, we don't think
No.
he's protecting her, but
doesn't know what he was doing.
stepped in it already too many times.
Yeah,
He
that's
he
true.
he couldn't lead a new investigation. He stepped into
he
it
was
too many times.
too messed up.
It's not that he did. The guy was dealt a bad hand. No matter who had been in that position, Democrat, Republican, sadist, anarchist, it wouldn't matter. Whoever was in that position, anytime you get around Hillary Clinton, your career is done. She's going to come out looking good, but you're going to be put in an impossible situation. No matter what he did, he was going to take off you or he's going to take off her.
Yeah.
No matter, the guy was in a no-win. I feel sorry for him. I would have resigned.
It might sound like an absurd thing for me to say that, but let me tell you why. To me, it's important that government officials understand that causes have consequences, and when they make mistake with an intention or without it, they better be careful, because our lives are in their hands, our economy, our military, and so much more. And just because you say, oh, it was not my bad intention, you can get away with it. No, I think it should be looked into. I think it should be punished, so other people go ahead and better think it twice.
Okay, well, that's enough about the server. That's not really what we're here for. But what do you think about the other count? Which one of his? Which is your favorite? How about the repeal of Obamacare? Is that your favorite?
I think that Obamacare needed help, but I don't think that this partisan drama around we got to take down anything that has Obama's name on it is helping anybody's
I think we
healthcare.
should remove.
We should. There's a lot of things that need to happen with
If his portrait's hanging in the
healthcare.
White House, we should remove that too, because that brings up bad memories.
Oh,
for me.
Ron.
I might go in there for a visit, and all that Obamacare stuff's going to come rushing back.
Okay.
Okay.
Obamacare
we
was
should-
not perfect, and Obamacare was not the answer. I am totally a proponent of universal health care. I don't think this BS that Trump and Paul Ryan are trying to push through is going to help anybody. It's obviously going to hurt people. It's just not the answer. None of this stuff is the answer.
It's not going to
Universal
hurt.
health
What do
care
you
is the
mean
only answer.
by universal health care?
I mean, a Medicare for all system
She-
where
How?
there's basic
just
universal
like
You
health
walk
care.
into a
Just like
hospital
you-
and it's already paid for, or that the government pays your insurance?
No,
What?
you walk in, you get the treatment, and you turn around and walk out,
Yes.
and they send the
Like in
bill to
Canada.
the government. Yeah, they.
No.
No,
No, because if I own an hospital, I'm just going to pop the price out of control as much as I want. It's a great business because the government have to pay for it. Now, if you come and use my services and my charges are fair, either you'll be able to pay for it.
Here's the thing: the government's going to set the prices.
Under
the
a capitalist system, the
if healthcare's paying for, if we have a universal healthcare system, then the government will set the prices, and you're going to have people dropping out that would have been good medical personnel, but they're not going to feel like they're getting paid enough. Well, folks, I hate to say it, but we're running out of time. I know you're going to miss me, but I will be back. Check me out on YouTube. Jamie, thanks for joining me. Jamie Knight from the Brian Blue Show, thanks for joining me. Anna McCartney, thanks for joining us.
Thank
I
you
had
so
a
much.
Don't
great
touch
time.
that dial.
Come
You don't
back
wanna
and
miss
see
what we have
me.
coming up.
Look for me
Your
on
choice, your
YouTube.
freedom.
Bye.
Ron
we have
Green.
one more segment.
And we're back. This is Your Choice, Your Freedom with your host, Ron Green. Finding solutions for America's problems.
Wow, we're still here. Can you believe it? Nobody's called the FCC and had me kicked out of my chair yet. Maybe that's because they can't do that yet. Anyway, we're back with Jamie Knight and Anna McCartney, and we're going to talk about Trump campaign promises and how he hadn't solved the country's problems in the first 100 days. I don't know why he's dragging his feet. I would have had it done already. I'm just saying, give me 30 days and a Sherman tank, and I'll solve any problem you want solved.
Okay, so here's the thing: is that I think it's completely unrealistic, and no matter what side of an aisle you're on, thinking that people can accomplish everything they say in 100 days is completely ridiculous. Now, from a progressive standpoint, and speaking as, bringing this perspective to the conversation, the thing that does concern me about the things that have happened in the first 100 days compared to the things that haven't happened in the first 100 days is concerning.
Well,
For
he
example-
hasn't had any
yes.
BJs in the Oval Office yet.
I don't know if that's true, but who would want to do that, my lord? Anyway.
Well, I'm just saying, that's
What
the
I'm
way Bill
trying to
Clinton started out.
Okay,
and look
listen-
how he
listen-
ended
listen
up.
to my-
Anyway, okay, go ahead.
Okay.
He won an election after that. So
Trump
my
made
work.
Trump made promises that were things like he's going to create a veterans hotline, and he's going to increase spending for veterans health care, and that he's going to require transparency on Wall Street, and he's going to do all of these things. Yet those things he's made absolutely no progress on. But all of the things where there's other interests involved, where there's crony capitalism and where there's associations that he has, all of those things like canceling global warming payments to the UN and defunding
Excellent.
Planned Parenthood
Beautiful.
and increasing military spending and removing regulations from corporations.
Three cheers for Trump. One,
No.
two. Yeah.
All of that stuff it's just profiting someone.
No,
None
it's
of those
profiting
things.
us
me.
because the less
It's
regulation, the
profiting
more
me.
opportunities I
Yeah,
have to get
yeah.
started too.
Do you guys not give a crap about the environment
Not
at
really,
all?
no. I'm not
Let
gonna
me
be
tell you,
here.
That's
he's a- let me
absolutely the
let me
scariest,
let me
saddest thing
debunk
I've
that
ever
It
theory.
should not
Let me
be.
debunk that theory.
Climate
The-
change theory?
Let me debunk. No. Actually, the fact that we are protecting the environment by stopping those activities here. Oh, let's stop pipelines and let's stop coal mining so we protect the environment. Yet we buy it from Saudi Arabia and other countries. We are breaking the balance of world destruction. Instead of doing it everywhere equally, we're destroying more other countries so we don't destroy the United States. That ain't nice.
I don't think it's
Okay,
nice. And I
okay.
agree.
And
with
it's
you.
what just happened.
Hold on, ladies. Y'all are
Green-
getting the
green
cart
is-
way before the horse. It doesn't matter. There's going to be another ice age. Have a little faith. Okay, the fossil fuel industry is dying a slow death all by itself
Yeah.
because technology is going to put it out of business.
It's not
in
happening
the normal,
fast enough.
It won't last
yeah,
long.
oh, please.
It's not happening
in the
fast
normal
enough.
course
Not
of time,
producing it
it's
here and
not
buying it
gonna
abroad.
be-
Do you know
No
what the
solution.
temperatures
Hold
are
on,
of how many
Let me
degrees?
finish my point.
What's happening
We're
in the
not-
oceans?
Who cares? Who cares? Really, who cares? Do you think your great grandfather give two thoughts about what kind of a world you were going to be living in? No, ma'am.
That doesn't make
busy
it. That
enjoying his
doesn't
life.
make it okay.
The
We're a more
thing is,
advanced society
there are
now.
far too many variables. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, let alone what's going to happen 2,000 years from now.
It's our, and I'm
For
not talking
all
about
we-
2,000 years
for
from now. I'm talking
all
about
we know,
25 years from now.
A meteor could hit us tomorrow.
I
knock the
believe you should
planet out of
care.
orbit,
Be
we're
honest
all
with me.
gone. You know what? I have more faith in human ingenuity than y'all do, and I know the direction that the technology's heading. It's not going to be
Yeah.
solar. It's not going to be wind. The footprints are too big. But we've got salt water. A teaspoon of salt water. Not a teaspoon. 8-ounce glass of salt water from the ocean can power Los Angeles, Chicago, et cetera,
Okay,
et cetera.
why
et cetera.
aren't we aggressively
We
pursuing
are
that
aggressively
stuff?
pursuing that. Not only
Takes
that, it
time.
might
It's a
surprise you
transition.
that the companies that actually putting the most money into this technology are the oil companies. They know more about the state of where the world is going than you or I or any politician or any green tree-hugging, loving environmentalist could ever
But
know.
you have someone who's the president of the United States who has said very publicly that he says climate change
It's
is a hoax.
sham. Right.
You
and
know,
believe
what I
that too.
believe is
I
a
believe
hoax.
that too.
What I believe is a hoax is the fact that they're using that excuse. No, not that I believe. Okay, the fact that we are dumping money into climate change causes, and once the money is outside of the United States, we don't know what happens to it. To me, that is a scam.
Okay, when he said it's a hoax, he meant the narrative that's been floated around for the last 20 years is a hoax. Okay, because the truth is 99% of world scientists agree that the climate is changing and that there is going to be another ice age. Well, gee, that's a no-brainer. I mean, nature tells
global
you there,
warming, man-made climate change.
There
is
is
what
going
we're
to
talking
be.
about.
No,
well,
hold
we-
on a minute. We're going to get to that part. The fact is there is going to be another ice age, and nothing I say or you say or she says or he says or anybody says is going to change that. There is going to be another ice age. Get ready, buy your long johns now. Okay, but the part that the left likes to and everybody likes to make fun is the scientific community is torn about equally split about whether our changing and the effects that humans are having on it and whether we're speeding it up
That's
or
not
not.
50-50.
That's about 50-50.
It's not 50-50.
Yeah, that's according to
Let's all take a moment and go look
what's
it
his
up.
name? What's his name on the Science Channel? And it's not that dumb guy.
Don't you dare call Bill Nye dumb,
Bill
or I will
Nye-
kick
Bill-
you in the
he's
shin.
an- He's an educated
Okay,
idiot.
okay,
He's
okay.
an educated idiot.
Let's steer this back to the fact that the only campaign promises that Trump is following through with in his first
Are the
100
ones
days
that his
are the
voters
ones
really
that
want him to.
don't help people. They're the ones that his
What?
donors
Right.
Are you kidding
and
me?
his crony capitalist
No way.
pals.
No,
It's going to
let's
benefit
see.
them.
Let's
It's
see.
not
Let's see
benefiting the people.
Let's see the ones he's following through on. Okay, he's working on health care. After that comes
He's not helping.
taxes.
No, he just
after that
repealed
comes
Obamacare.
that
So
comes
that's
taxes.
great.
After that
He
comes
replaced it
taxes.
with something worse.
No,
After
it's
that-
not.
yeah, that's
It's
good.
actually
You
fantastic.
say it's worse. I say it's better.
How?
Let me
Ah.
tell you a little overview.
But more people are going to lose coverage.
Let me tell you what's the thing that CNN is not saying, not telling you and whoever else was here earlier. Look, 24 million people are going to lose their health care. Who says they won't be able to get into the American Health Care Act? Now, the point with the people with pre-existing conditions, and it was well explained, is instead of the health insurance companies paying for that, the government is going to subsidize their care. But CNN doesn't say that. It says they're going to lose their health care. And I think it's great that you subsidize people with pre-existing conditions so you can keep a fair
We're
fee on the
talking about a
rest.
policy that does not exist yet. They're working on it. The final product has not been produced yet. It's crazy to get crazy about what is or is not going to be at this point. There is no
The
bill.
liberals say the government is failing already. It's been 4 months.
There is no bill. The
don't think
Senate
it's
hasn't
failing.
weighed in. They haven't voted on it. They haven't approved it. The president hasn't signed it. We can discuss whether it's good or bad after we actually have it. And here's what we're going to get to do that we couldn't do with Pelosi's bill. We're going to get to read it.
We need to.
How about that?
What do you mean? The ACA bill's been up since day one.
Yeah, but it wasn't until after it was passed. Nancy came on national television and said, well, we got to pass it so we can find out what's in it.
I
You
have a
remember that?
question that I
You
always.
forgot
That was totally
liberals
taken out
tend
of
to forget.
context.
Hey, I saw it live. The liberals tend to forget that little statement.
Nobody's
I want to
Uh,
know the opinion of a liberal about Nancy Pelosi. What do you think
No,
about
that
her?
has nothing to do with Trump and his campaign promises.
Come on.
Sorry.
Anna,
Come
we're
back
going
for
to do a whole
another
nother show about that another time.
Yes, we certainly will.
My problem is that I don't think that his campaign promises that he's aggressively pursuing right now are the
Here's
ones
the
that
thing.
really speak to the base of
63
his
million
supporters.
people
Health
voted
care,
for him
tax
to
reform,
do those things.
But he's not helping those people get health care.
Yes, he is.
How are more people going to be covered under his health care plan?
Should I explain it again?
More people are not going to get covered under his plan.
They will be the ones that have conditions that are way too expensive for insurance companies to be in business are going to be subsidized by the government, so insurance company can keep a fair
Obamacare
price.
light. Okay, folks, we do not have a bill yet. Don't discuss the merits of the bill.
Okay.
Let's just
How about
discuss.
the
It's
Is
a
he
campaign promise.
Right. Is he working towards a campaign promise? Check that
Yeah.
box.
His campaign
Oh, yeah.
promises that he's working towards are
Okay,
mostly
and these are the
disproportionately
and
ones
these are
that
the
will
ones.
benefit his
These are,
corporate
unless I'm
cronies.
mistaken, these are the same promises that he was making during the campaign that you hated, right? And 63 million other people liked.
Yeah. And
So
67 million.
yeah, but
didn't.
guess what? It doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
California doesn't
I
get to
know.
pick the president
Thank
all by
God.
itself.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to include everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody. Otherwise,
But if you're
the
talking-
dumbasses in
I
California
understand
would totally rule the country.
This country is divided very distinctly right
You know
now.
Right,
what? Be
on the
honest
East and
with you,
West
I
Coast.
think it's word of mouth because you and I can go have some drinks if we are not talking about politics. So the conversations about politics are divided, but the people is no big deal.
Yeah.
There's not such a thing of me shooting people around because they're liberal. That's just not happening.
But in the first 100 days, Trump signed a lot of executive orders, the things he could actually do all by himself, in which he told the 63 million who did vote for him that he would do. Now, I know these irritate you, but these are what he won on. Okay? So unless you have anything to say to the 63 irredeemable deplorables, you
We'll
can
see what happens over the next couple of months.
That's exactly right. Okay.
I'm not giving him much time left.
Once again,
Not
I
really.
want to thank Anna and Jamie Knight and Anna McCartney for joining me today, and Alan West, who's no longer with us, but will be back sometime.
Colonel West.
Colonel
That's a
West.
wrap.
Oh,
Thank
I
you for
blew
tuning in
that,
to
didn't
Your
I?
Choice and Your
Anyway,
Freedom
come back
with
and
Ron
see
Green.
how I screw up next
We'd love
time.
to hear
Bye.
from you. Join the movement and voice your concerns at yourchoiceandyourfreedom.com. See you next time.